Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Boys and my friends.
I have a place and a heart.
I have a voice. I have a voice.
I love you.
I have a voice. My voice
Good
is strong.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Philippines Uncut. I am your host, Buddy Kunanan. On this show, we talk about everything under the sun, and tonight's show is about health and our discussion on Down syndrome, a condition that causes mental retardation and unique physical characteristics in 1 in 800 children all over the world. Now, recently we had Mr. Tony Pasha, who is the chairman of the Down Syndrome Association of the Philippines, on the show. Tonight, our discussion continues with Ms. Agnes La Peña and a very special guest, Mr. Arthur Ryan D. So Agnes and Arthur, welcome to Philippines Uncut.
Hi, good evening.
It's a pleasure to have you here, Arthur.
It's my pleasure to have you.
Pleased to meet you. And okay, let's start our discussion with a short introduction. Let's begin first with Ryan. Ryan, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
For me, as myself, I love to do things in positivity for children's awareness around the world, and also save the public health and support to all the world.
Bravo. Thank you very much, Ryan. Bravo. Agnes, tell us about yourself.
I'm a mother. My son with Down syndrome, Jeremy, he's 17 years old. He goes to a life skills development center. He plays golf. He's an altar server in our parish church, and he's also into photography, and just like any boy, he's into computer games, and not quite yet.
Not
maybe
yet.
soon.
Okay, I remember Jeremy because with my discussion with Mr. Pasha, Chairman Pasha, 2 weeks ago, he did mention that your son is a very good golfer, and he said his handicap is pretty impressive.
Well, he is definitely much better than myself. He plays golf. He's a natural. He has a good swing, and I think he just gets it from observing his dad, from watching TV in the evening, the U.S. Open, the British Open, and he learns. And I asked him to tutor me because I just started playing golf, and we're seriously considering that he joins the Special Olympics in the golf division.
Wow, no, excellent, excellent. Now, for people who are just catching our show now and who weren't able to catch the first installment with Mr. Pasha, let's talk about Down syndrome, this condition. How would you define this, and tell us a bit about this condition?
Down syndrome is a random genetic disorder. As you said earlier, it happens in 1 in 800. It doesn't choose any race, nationality, rich or poor, so it can happen to everyone. It is a chromosomal disorder because we all have 23 pairs of chromosomes. But the person with Down syndrome has one extra chromosome on the 21st pair. So the scientific or the medical term for Down syndrome is trisomy 21 because there are 3 chromosomes on the 21st pair. They say it's a normal chromosome, but the additional genetic material creates so much chaos on the body that there are different medical concerns. They have the physical characteristics, which we say they more or less look the same.
Yes.
There are medical concerns like heart problems, respiratory problems.
Vision.
There's a vision, or there's a thick medical book about the medical concerns in Down syndrome. But then we have kids who don't have those problems. So it's really there's a wide range, high functioning, low functioning. Important thing is the children is given the right medical attention initially.
Yes, yes. And of course, the right care, the right love and support, which is very important.
That's why one of the most important program that the Down Syndrome Association of the Philippines has is early intervention.
Okay,
so we have this every quarter, and one coming soon on the 4th of August at the San Carlos Seminary. We invite new parents or even parents who have older kids but have never done anything for their child. This is open to all. We're on Facebook. We make our announcements there. So we would like to invite new parents to join our early intervention seminar. So this is support, all the other parents are there. This is a time for you to cry, to tell your concerns, and get over it. And in the afternoon, there are doctors, therapists who will explain how to deal with a child, a baby, taking care of your child with Down syndrome.
Why do you call it early intervention?
Intervention is you do it right from the start.
Right.
So if you can do it the day after or the moment you bring home your baby, that's early intervention.
Or maybe I understand there are tests that can show in the first 3 months, trimester.
Well, the geneticist is the first doctor who will tell you what to do.
All right.
And there's a karyotype wherein they will map out the chromosomes. Okay, this is kind of very technical, but it will confirm also what kind of Down syndrome it is, because even if Down syndrome is a genetic disorder, a random genetic disorder, and it's an accident and it can happen to anyone.
Nothing causes it. I mean, there's no environmental
but it can. There's a type of Down syndrome wherein it can happen more than once. So if you have 2, 3 in the family, this is the type of Down syndrome that you have to look out for because it can be carried on to the next generation. So this family would need genetic counseling. What to do if you're pregnant again, if you have another child with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
So it's important to find out what kind of Down syndrome it is.
Well, okay, what about cases I've heard before from lay people? I mean, or just like rumors mostly. Like the later a woman has a child in life, the greater the risk of having a child with this condition.
Yes, that is also true. That's true. That the older a woman is, the higher risk.
Yeah.
Of course, these are numbers, but we have majority of our moms are actually below 35 because the test would start at 35.
Okay.
In fact, in other countries, I will not mention the country, if you're 35, abortion is an option.
Wow.
Yes, it is. Wow. So maybe their numbers, the statistics would be lower. They have fewer cases of Down syndrome.
Yes, yes.
Because they say at 35, high risk. So if you're 45, higher risk. That's true, but we have parents who gave birth at the age below 20.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about how your society helps families, because I understand. I mean, understandably, when a family learns of this news that they are expecting a child, let's say, with this condition, I'm sure the effect must be quite traumatic for many. And I think the support that you guys give to parents. I mean, that is that. As you said, once a kid is diagnosed with having this condition, there's nothing that can be done. I mean, there's no cure for it. There's no corrective measure. So it really is helping the families cope and adjust and be prepared to meet the challenges of bringing up a child with Down syndrome. And there are a lot of challenges.
Yes.
What are the major challenges that parents have to face?
Yeah, I mentioned this. Of course, there's the stigma.
Sure. Okay.
You for 9 months you wait for a child, typical baby, and then you lose that child. And then here you are with a burden. Initially, you would think of it as a burden. And I guess all parents have gone through that stage. But then we are here, the association is here to support, to tell you that you are not alone. And then you know what? You go to Facebook. These are parents who grieved, who cried, but look at it now. Oh, everybody wants to post photos of their children. We have an activity, all the mommies want their children on stage. So we are proud of our children. And it just takes that first step of accepting your child and giving your child as many opportunities as possible. Yes. So that is what the association is here for. Aside from early intervention program, we have other activities in line for the children.
Yes.
We tie up with our sponsors for these activities.
And I'm sure after you have this intervention with the parents, as you said, you have them in several times a year. And then when, as you said, it's very emotional, but I'm sure that you can see the turnaround after they see that there is a group that's there for them, that they're not alone, that there are other people who are there to lend support. I'm sure you can see the turnaround, no?
Absolutely. It's so clear that, give them just a little time to get over the pain, and then they're okay.
Excellent.
So that's why every event that we have, it's really a happy moment for parents when we get together. We are so proud of our children.
And the kids are there as well, the kids, the whole family's there.
We parade them with the friends, families, with their teachers. So we have a happy walk every February, because February is the National Down Syndrome Consciousness Month. And this is a month-long, lots of activities, events, and it's really more to create awareness. And Happy Walk is the highlight. For 2014, the theme is Living with Down Syndrome.
Okay, like my show?
Yes, and it's on Feb 23 at the SM North EDSA Sky Dome.
Excellent.
So
excellent.
This early, please mark your calendar.
Excellent. And we'll make a shout out at the end of the show to remind people about that. But let's talk about our special guest now, Ryan. Welcome to Philippines again, Ryan. And I understand this is not the first time you are on TV. You've been on TV several times, according to your Tita Agnes here.
Actually, yes. It's been years of being me on TV.
With Loren Legarda.
How does it feel to be on TV?
With some especially also are beautiful or awesome. I like them because they are the ones who done this for me, and also as that some kids they like to feature on. I really like it. It's really cool.
Good. And I'm glad that you're on the show, because people, I want people to see what a charming man you are, and how you are engaged in so many different activities, and that's what we're going to ask you right now. I understand, Ryan, that you went to several schools. Tell us about the schools that you went to.
The school I went to is Creative Learners School.
Okay.
The place is so cool that they moved to Martyrdus, the school, private school, which has me a lot of energy, stress in there. Then to DNJCA, meet some new friends there, high school ones, and nice girl classes there too.
Nice girl classmates.
Yes, even that.
Crushes?
So your son, give him a little bit more time, he's going to be like Ryan. He's going to have an interest in girls as well.
Yes.
And I understand you also went to AMA.
Oh yes, that's what I do. But not all that. Way back before AMA, it was ILLC.
ILLC. Okay. And what did you study in AMA? We're talking about AMA Computer College.
Yeah.
Right?
In AMA, actually, there's some teachers there, there's some two offices or the stations there, classrooms, labs. Everything were perfect. The places are really good.
Yes, good. No, it's an excellent school. And I understand that now you actually are working, you're practicing what you studied at AMA. You're actually working now. Tell us a bit about your job now.
My job now is in Teresa and tracking,
Okay.
which are both confidential. I love their business officials. It's so cool. And see their paperwork or the hard work they have to make money.
Yeah.
Is in their heart.
A lot of money. So he has a lot of money.
Now tell me, Agnes, is your son as active as Ryan here? Did he go to similar schools as well?
He started, of course, usually when they're in their early ages, they can be mainstreamed. So he started with a preschool, and then later he still went to a regular school, but under a SPED program.
Okay.
But we have kids with Down syndrome who are mainstream from preschool to college. In fact, we have one now, Brina, who is the global ambassador for Special Olympics, who is in college.
Yes.
She graduated at the top of her class.
I think Mr. Pasha told me, mentioned that on air. Someone graduated like valedictorian or
Yes,
something.
yes,
Was that the
yes,
same girl?
yes,
Wow.
She's Brina Maxino.
In a regular school.
Yes, a regular
Wow,
school.
wow. I mean, that's amazing. To actually compete with other kids and come out on top.
Yeah. So you see, they have their talents, they have their skills.
Yes.
So you just have to bring out the best.
Yes. Now, Ryan, your Tita Agnes's son Jeremy is into golf. What sports do you like to play, if ever?
For me, I do bowling. It was good for me. It's been years, and also swimming too. Perhaps tried or badminton, try that.
Yes.
It's all tied up, so I'm focused on that goal.
And I understand you're also quite a dancer.
Yes, that too.
How often do you go dancing, Ryan?
Every Saturday in the morning, it was really good. It looks like exercise in PE classes. That's why that all the energy in it.
Yoga. And also yoga.
Yoga.
Yeah, yoga too.
Now, how was your experience with yoga?
For yoga, firstly, he was very great. It's like before with mom. She's more tacky. Yes.
Okay. Now, tell me, Ryan, do you have siblings? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Why? Yes, only both. One sister and one brother.
And what is your relationship with your siblings? Do you get along? Do you guys have a lot of fun together? Tell us a bit about that.
Why, actually, yes, it is. But them there, with family or friends, they like it. When there's something in trouble or what, I care for them. That's like somebody I know from who had died. It's been years. It's a good friend. His name is Tini Rosina. She died while ago in autism.
Yeah.
So I prefer that to them to stop fighting or do anything they want to wake them up.
Yes. Now Agnes, like in Ryan's case, he has siblings. How important is? Do you guys also help in preparing the siblings as well for not just the parents, the siblings also? What kind of intervention do you do? Holistic intervention do you guys do?
Yes, fortunately for the Down Syndrome Association, we have a subgroup. It's called Sibling Support Group, or SSG, and this was out of their own that they decided to form their own group. And this is good because, you know, we will not be always there for our children. With the breakthrough in medical technology, they could outlive us. And if we're gone, who will take care of them?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So this is good. We have championed this, and we hope to invite more and more siblings to join.
And it's a team effort. It's a team
It
effort.
is.
The parents, the doctors, the siblings, the therapists, all coming together to take care of our special children.
Yes, we call it a team, and this is the best way to approach it, to involve everybody, including the helpers at home, if you have a driver, you know, so they're all part, because so much of the development of the child will depend on the environment.
Yes.
You treat a child badly, what do you expect? But give the child good intervention,
Yes.
then the child should be okay.
Yes, you mentioned something I asked actually I asked Mr. Pasha last 2 weeks ago. I asked I mean, like families, of course, when parents are informed that they have a child with Down syndrome, the thing they wonder is what will happen to this child after, like if this child outlives me. Let's say, I mean, who will take care of this child? Now, is this a big concern, a big
Yes.
challenge for parents, and how are parents coping with this?
Yes, it is really a major concern, especially in our case, you know, that our children are much older. We want to, we think of what would the opportunities be for our children. Not just who will take care of them, but right now we have bigger goals. Will they be able to find jobs? Will they live independently?
By themselves, take care of
Yes,
themselves.
if we can reach for that, why not? You know, the Philippines is still backward in terms of that, but we are getting there. We have partners. Can I mention some of them?
Sure, please. By
Yeah,
all
like
means.
Pancake House has opened its doors, hiring persons with Down syndrome, and recently, I'm sure you saw the commercial of McDonald's.
Very
So
powerful.
hopefully, because McDonald's in other countries hire persons with Down syndrome.
Very
so
powerful.
maybe they will. And I heard that Jollibee is already hiring persons with disabilities. So why not somebody with Down syndrome, right? And Ryan is working. So we would like to see our children not just taken care of by the families, but being productive, contributing to society. That's how we don't aim for office jobs, executive position. We're more practical. Just be useful, productive, contribute to society, be accepted.
Yes. Now, Ryan, was it difficult growing up with Down syndrome? How did you? What was the hardest part about it?
For me,
Yes.
it was so good, but except for the things that I have mentioned a while ago, which I grew up with a plan, which I could succeed, whole thing. That's like making my own, business that I do. That's my job, and take care of those people who love the most.
Yes.
It started with the people with a body who health from ILC who have that person.
Yes. Now, tell us about your dreams for the future. What would you like to do? What would you like to achieve still?
For me, I'm still making my own business. I'm still ongoing, getting more experiences in everything I do. And then I would have this, which is not too early introduction to, it's like one of the best days and for the new universe which I've been to. I hope it's called Unplay or some sort. I'm still working on that.
And if I may
Yeah,
mention,
please.
Ryan is a writer, and he helps the less fortunate, like what he did with typhoon victims, right? Maybe you can tell us
Tell
about
us
it.
quickly about what you did during Ondoy, during the there's a bad storm several years ago. What did you do?
Oh, I also like to the poor children. It's my mission, a vision of having them, that's what I do.
Help.
That's like I'm playing with syndrome nonsense. There are some children who are dying or suffering. That's like with so artificial. I like it to see the family and to people like you guys to help out.
Thank you. Now, Agnes, before we pause for a break, tell the audience how to get in touch with the Down Syndrome Association of the Philippines.
We are on Facebook. Just look for the Down Syndrome Association of the Philippines, and our website is www.disapi.org, and our hotline is 895-3606.
How about for groups that want to volunteer to help your organization? Are you open to volunteers? Are
Oh
you
yes,
open to
we're
donations?
open to donations, definitely, because we just rely on donations. We're open to teachers, educators, photographers.
Photographers?
Yes. So create awareness.
Yes, okay.
So because we also are partner with a group of photographers in Photography with a Difference.
That's another inspiring project that Mr. Pasha mentioned. It's bringing together the parents and the children and taking these just beautiful photographs of. Is this the same project?
Yes,
of just happy photographs of kids with Down syndrome.
Actually, this group is really not just for Down syndrome, but for other groups with disabilities.
Yeah.
And Disapi benefits from it because they capture the bonding moments between the parent and the child. And we have sponsors. We have Canon and SM. Canon prints the pictures. SM displays the photos in their malls.
Excellent.
So it's really a good way to create more awareness, to get more people involved.
Excellent. Okay, so Ryan, Agnes, we got to pause for a break. But guys, don't go away because more of Living Down Syndrome Part 2 when Philippines Uncut returns. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Mia Peterson, and I'm on the National Down Syndrome Society's Board of Directors. People with Down syndrome are unique individuals with many strengths and talents. I'm proud to be a Brownie and Girl Scout.
I'm proud to be an Eagle Scout.
I'm proud of singing in the choir.
I am proud to be an interpreter for the deaf.
I'm proud of being an artist. I basically mostly do abstract designs.
I am proud of the different of my own.
I like making money so I can buy the things I love. I am first grade on the island cruising.
I'm proud of making the honor roll at my middle school.
1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Hey, back.
I'm proud of what I am today.
I am proud of my whole life.
Everyone has dreams, including people with Down syndrome. I dream that one day I will drive a car, have an exercise video, and work on my book, Take the Challenge, Take the Risk.
When I grow up, I'll be a doctor, a painter, an actor.
I want to be a vet.
My dream is to represent the causes of people with disabilities.
When I grow up, I want to be the weather reporter.
My dream is to go to college. My dream in the future is to work for the president. I like to thank the National Down Syndrome Society and the people like you. Someday, our people with Down syndrome will be able to achieve their dreams.
Welcome back to Philippines Uncut. I'm your host, Buddy Kananan, and tonight's topic is Living with Down Syndrome Part 2. And joining us still are Agnes La Peña, parent of a child with Down syndrome, and of course, Arthur Ryan D. And coming on the set now is Miss Eleanor Rose Lopez, or Teacher Yo to her patients, and she is a pediatric physical therapist. So, Agnes, welcome back to Philippines Uncut, and also Ryan, and of course, Teacher Yo.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Teacher Yo, let's talk about your background. Tell us about yourself and the work you do.
Well, like what you said, I'm a pediatric physical therapist. I work for a special clinic, so we cater for kids with disabilities. I'm actually in an early intervention clinic, so you've been using that term a while ago. So we start with the kids really young, as early as they are ready for therapy. We see them. I had a kid like only 2 weeks old, and we start with PT already.
Wow. Okay. Before we talk about that, let's talk about your training. Is this something you do full time? You are really this is something your work with children with Down syndrome.
Yes.
This is a full time job for you.
Yes.
What led you to this profession? What was your training in college, for instance?
During college, you have to have a year of internship, and during that time, I had 2 months of exposure with pediatric physical therapy, and that has led me to realize that I think I'm really for this part of PT. So after graduating, I worked first at an outpatient clinic for adults, and then slowly I found my way back to working in a pediatric setting.
Yes. So your first encounter with children with Down syndrome was in college when you said that internship.
Yeah, internship.
Yes, at that clinic. And then after that, it became really a pursuit of yours,
Yes.
a personal pursuit of yours. And you've been doing this ever since.
Yes, for 10 years already.
Wow. Okay. Now, let's talk about early intervention. And you said that you do it as early as the child is able to. And you said you have a patient now who's 2 weeks old.
Yes, 2 weeks old.
I mean, how can, pardon me for saying, but how can, it seems kind of unusual that a child, a baby, a 2-month-old baby,
A 2-week-old
The
baby.
2-week-old baby would have therapy. I mean, isn't the child too fragile at that stage? Or
Well, they actually look very, very fragile, especially since I'm quite a big girl.
Yeah.
And then you see them, they're only this big. But with Down syndrome, you already know from the start that they'll be having delays in their gross motor skills.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is try to avoid those delays, or try to prepare the kid as early as they can, so that delays would come like at a lesser magnitude than expected.
Okay, let's talk about that. From your experience, Agnes, I mean, did Jeremy undergo early intervention, physical intervention?
Yes, the first person after the geneticist is the physical therapist.
Yes.
So we started in less than a month.
Okay, wow.
You know,
Not even
the
1 month old, and then he was being given therapy already.
simple thing like reaching out is something that is a task that the child has to learn, the baby has to learn.
Yes.
Because you leave a typical kid in the crib, the baby will learn how to reach
touch
out, to
things.
stand up, to
Yes.
start walking.
Yes, yes.
Not for Down syndrome. Maybe they will, but
At a later pace.
So
slower
we have to
pace.
help. That's what early intervention means. You help the child.
Okay, now how come, Teacher Yo, why aren't children with Down syndrome able to do that? I mean, what is with their physical makeup that makes it difficult for them to do these things, develop the way a normal, let's say, other children would do?
Well, associated with that, for the Down syndrome condition, would
Yeah.
be certain problems like hypotonicity. It's like the muscles aren't that ready to work, so it takes them a longer time to use their muscles. So for a typical kid who's able to sit by 6 months, a kid with Down syndrome would be able to learn it much later because the muscles aren't ready yet.
How much later, usually?
Roughly like 8 months to a year-old.
Wow, so almost double the time
Yeah.
that say a regular child
Yeah.
would learn these things in the
Yeah.
course of development.
Yes.
Okay, now, okay, how would you help, let's say, a 2-week-old infant or 2-month-old infant? What kind of therapy would you do? I mean, I can't even imagine what kind of therapy
Muscle
one would do.
compression, joint tapping.
Because I've seen physical therapists in the hospital now, and
Yeah, for adults.
they're pretty rough, huh? I mean, they look like, you know. So how do you do it for a little child?
Well, we teach a lot of massage techniques with the parents because it's more of giving stimulation to the kid,
Okay.
so the kid would develop. So you do a lot of massaging, you do a lot of presentation of toys to encourage looking around and fixing the eyes.
Joint
So
compression.
yeah, so simple things really, but later on it would add up a lot.
And so it really is a team effort, and so it's
Yes.
not just the child who goes; it's also the parent attends as well.
The parent, the yaya, the
Father,
caregiver.
siblings.
Yes, everybody goes.
So they will also do this now at home,
Yes.
and then in their free time as often as possible. I mean,
Like 3 times a day or every moment that they could.
yeah. Okay. Tell us a bit about Jeremy. I mean, he underwent this. I mean, not even a month old. And then how long did he have to go through physical therapy?
Physical therapy lasted until he could climb the stairs. So that took about 3 years. We did not rush him to walk, which was a very strict order
Yes.
from the therapist.
Yes.
So he had to go through the process of crawling.
Okay.
Gosh, this was 17 years ago. So, but you
Crawling,
know what
standing
what
up.
a typical baby or a toddler would go through. He had to do it. We followed the orders of the therapist. Sometimes we used instinct. Sometimes we had things around the house we discovered would work.
Yes.
But it was really a team effort. So if the yaya was there, she would do it with him. Children, the daddy was forced to do it with him. Initially, it's overwhelming. That's what we tell new parents. But then it becomes part of your routine. You enjoy it. And then when you see that the child could turn around or start, it becomes a milestone.
Of course, and the joy, that
Yeah,
comes at my
it is.
God, my
Yes.
kid can do this. You know,
Yes.
what next? You know, like that. Okay. How is it? I mean, she mentioned, Agnes mentioned that the doctor recommended that not to rush standing up,
Yes.
walking. Why is that?
As with all parents, I think they're very excited to see their kid the first time the kid would stand or the first time the kid would walk. I think that's one of the most important milestones that the parents are waiting for. And like what I said earlier, for kids with Down syndrome, they have slower muscles. So it takes us some more time to develop those muscles. And if we rush the kid into doing standing or into walking earlier, they'd be able to do it, but with a really faulty pattern. Like they'd stand up with improper posture or they'd walk with improper gait patterns, and we wouldn't want that to happen because it's harder to unlearn wrong patterns than to teach the correct ones.
Yes, yes. And so the children who don't undergo this kind of special therapy, what is the result? As you said,
They would
turn out-
eventually stand, they
but-
would eventually walk, but with really improper patterns.
Yes, yes. And so what you're really trying to do is make sure that they are equipped physically as much as
Yes.
possible for them to function as say normally.
Yes, as with
Later on in
any
life.
neurotypical kid.
Yes, yes. Now, Ryan, tell us a bit about, have you undergone therapy, physical therapy? Do you still undergo physical therapy?
For me,
Yeah.
actually, my mom always do that. Basically, because she doesn't
Good mother.
well, for now on, I don't have any kind of conditions, only the special thing that mom has.
Yes, yes. But this has helped you also, and I understand you also play badminton as well. And I mean, how has this helped you? It's made you stronger?
Well, yeah, only for the arms, actually, because I tried that. It's too risky.
The key is to be active, to be involved,
Okay, yeah.
to be active.
Yes.
The key is to be active, to
Yeah.
be involved in
lot of
sport
activities.
because they have a tendency, as she mentioned, they're hypotonic, they have thyroid problems.
Yes.
So it's like if they're big and then they're slow, then you don't involve them because they're slow. But you should push your kid so they build their muscles. Like my son plays golf, so he has
Muscular.
firm arms and he has a good.
Wow. Now, children with Down syndrome, if you put them through this therapy, they can really engage in sports like golf
Yes.
and badminton
Yes.
and swimming and things like that.
Yes.
What should they avoid? I mean, are children with Down syndrome fragile in a certain way that there's some things that they should avoid doing? Or some sports or activities that you would not recommend that they do?
Actually, for them, aside from hypotonicity, one of their biggest problems would also be laxity of their joints. Like their joints are more flexible than the normal kids or kids without Down syndrome. So sometimes the parents would find it cute that they could do splits or they could reach their arm, like totally weird postures. But we would discourage that because they're more prone to dislocations or to fractures because of those. So what we try to do is to strengthen the muscles around the joints. So not so much splits, not so much reaching with both arms behind their back because their shoulders could get dislocated.
Yeah. What about stuff like push-ups, pull-ups? Those
Actually,
kind of
those
things?
are
those okay?
actually good because it builds muscles. Like what I said, it builds muscles around the joints. Push-ups is a very good core strengthening muscle aside from strengthening the arms. So it makes them firmer. It makes them more muscular.
I want to ask Ryan about another one of his hobbies. I understand you're also, Ryan, into yoga,
Yes.
right? Do you enjoy yoga? Who got you involved in yoga?
Well, my mom actually involved in this process. Because
Do you enjoy yoga? I mean, do you enjoy the stretching and the different positions? And does it make you relax? You have fun doing it?
yes, me and my mom always do that. He was the nice good teachers.
Okay. Now, teacher, what about yoga? Okay, I mean, because you said unusual positions, and in
Yes.
yoga, I've seen several yoga classes, and they really stretch you and they
Yes.
pull you and stuff like that. So.
Well, aside from stretching you, the positions also strengthen you. So I think we actually promote doing yoga for kids with Down syndrome. It helps them build their core. A lot of them, they get big and then their core muscles are very weak.
What do you mean by core muscles?
Like the muscles in the trunk.
The abs.
Yeah, so they tend to sit like this. They're slouched. But no, with Ryan,
Yeah, he
he's
has good
very
posture.
straight.
Yeah,
Yes, because he's been
absolutely.
doing a lot of sports. So yoga helps build the tone of the muscles in the trunk, helps strengthen the muscles, and they give them proper posture and good strength.
Yes, yes.
And
Agnes?
perfect timing. Earlier today, we had a meeting with One Life Studio. They have yoga classes and they will be opening classes for special kids. So again, it will be announced on Facebook.
Yes.
Excellent. And how soon do you think they'll roll that out?
We are targeting for August, and this will be in 3 age groups. So watch out for the announcement on
It's very
Facebook.
good.
Excellent, excellent. I mean, that's a special thing, and
Yes.
I'm glad that other groups are recognizing that there are groups that need help, and that they're starting initiatives like
Yes.
this. Now, Teacher Yo, you've worked with a lot of kids with Down syndrome.
Yes.
How many? I mean, 10 years, and that's a lot of kids.
Yes,
no?
that's a lot. I feel like I'm the mom to lots and lots of kids already.
Tell us about success stories. Tell us about your.
Well, one of my favorite stories would be the one I started with when she was only 2 weeks old, Sam. She started with me, she was really small, and then she had a hole in her heart, so she turns blue whenever she tries to roll over. And actually for me, I was very, very scared to touch her. So, oh, I might break something because she looks so fragile. But now, she had her operation, she's been undergoing PT and OT, and she started with speech. I think she will be starting school next year already, God willing. She's actually very good.
Okay. Now, you mentioned PT, OT, and other
speech,
interventions.
yes.
Tell us about the different types of therapies available.
So for myself, I'm a physical therapist, so what we're really concerned about would be strengthening the muscles so the kids would be able to do their gross motor activities. So gross motor skills like standing, walking, running, playground skills. So we're concerned with that. Then you have the OT, the occupational therapists. Ryan is smiling, yeah, OT. The OTs, what they're concerned would be the activities of the kids, everyday activities of the kids. So the activities of daily living like dressing up, bathing, eating, also school activities, work behaviors.
so.
It's actually a big profession,
Yeah.
OT.
Fine motor.
And then fine motor, the use of the hands in writing. Then lastly, you have the speech therapists. So these would be professionals who would help the kids with Down syndrome to speak more clearly or to produce more intelligible sounds, and also how to put things together in a coherent thought. So that would be the work of the SPs.
Yeah. Did your son undergo the whole
Oh,
range
yes.
of,
And
Until
more-
now, he still goes to
so all those different therapies?
speech therapist, and before the start of the program, I was talking with his speech therapist.
Yes.
So we don't want to stop because we see that he hasn't plateaued and his speech is developing. So we push him.
Now, without these therapies, how would the child develop? What would be the development without all these therapies?
I think it would depend a lot on the environment that the kid is in. Because really can't say if the kid would develop as fast as somebody who's given the proper therapies. But I think if he's not stimulated enough, then the growth would be so much slower.
Yes. Now, okay. Like all these therapies, and I'm sure a lot of people wondering the show in the audience now. These are expensive. I mean, if you have all these therapies, let's be frank.
It is.
These are specialists, and you mentioned at least three different therapists. Okay, that each specializing in their own field. No, how do parents who don't have access to financial resources do cope with it and help their children?
Earlier, you asked how is it if the child doesn't have access to therapists, to these services. We have cases of children in the provinces who are okay. It depends on the family on how they treat their child. But then again, the Down Syndrome Association of the Philippines offers these services. During the early intervention seminar, we invite all 3 therapists to give a talk, give tips. And we also have the annual free clinic where the child will be assessed by the therapist.
Yes.
Then they can make a home programs.
Yes.
Then there is the College of Allied Medical Professionals from UP.
Yes.
And these are interns who take turns in handling the child, who will make a home program. Because you can see the therapist every week, but if you don't do it at home, it's a waste of money, a waste of time.
Yes.
You have to do it at home with your child.
Do you guys have stuff online? Because I'm sure, let's say, if I was in the province and let's say I didn't have access to funds, and let's say on YouTube and like what parents could do to help their child, like in terms of physical therapy and all that. There should be links to YouTube. I
Yes.
mean, that's a project that maybe Down Syndrome Association of Philippines could do, is
I think
maybe
that's a
a
very good
video
idea, yeah.
in Tagalog in Filipino. So like even people in the province can just go online. You know, there are internet cafes all over the country. They can just go there and see how do I help my child with Down syndrome.
Yeah, that would
It's
be a
good.
good project.
It's a low cost but highly effective.
Brilliant idea.
Very efficient also.
I get a royalty, yeah.
Yeah, you will. Well, but of course everything is pro bono.
Okay. So unfortunately, we've time goes by very fast in the show, and yeah, we're almost at the end of the program. But before we go, let's start first with message. Ryan, would you like to say something to the viewers?
Oh, sure then. To all the viewers like you, I would like to say thank you for support for this happy and for his network. I so really love it. There as a family.
Bravo. Bravo. Okay. Teacher Yo, maybe you can tell the viewers where to reach you, let's say, and then give your contact details, etc., etc.
Yes, hi, this is Teacher Yo. If in case you have kids with Down syndrome, or actually kids with any type of disability that you'd like to be seen by a physical therapist, you could contact me at ALRES, that's Alternative Learning and Resource Education. Our number is 712-1189.
Excellent. And then finally, Agnes, inspirational message from the association and as a parent to your co-parents out there.
Thank you for having us on the show, and to all of you out there. There is hope, there is help. We are here to offer support. Look for us on Facebook, the Down Syndrome Association of the Philippines, or call us at 895-3606. Join us in the early intervention seminars and the Happy Walk and all the activities that we have for your beautiful children.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Agnes. Thank you, Teacher Yo. And of course, thank you very much, Ryan. And see you again once again on the show when as we approach February, which is the Down Syndrome Awareness Month, I think.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show and learned a lot about Down syndrome. Join us again next week here in the show where we talk about what matters to you. You guys matter the most. See you next week.
Down syndrome.
Why do you call it early intervention?
Intervention is you do it right from the start.
Right.
So if you can do it the day after or the moment you bring home your baby, that's early
Or maybe
intervention.
when, I understand there are tests that can
Yes.
show
Yes.
in the first 3 months, trimester.
Well, the geneticist is the first doctor who will tell you what to do.
All right.
And there's a karyotype wherein they will map out the chromosomes. Okay, this is kind of very technical, but it will confirm also what kind of Down syndrome it is, because even if Down syndrome is a genetic disorder, a random genetic disorder, and it's an accident and it can happen to anyone.
Nothing causes it. I mean, there's no environmental.
But it can.
causes.
There's a type of Down syndrome wherein it can happen more than once. So if you have 2, 3 in the family, this is the type of Down syndrome that you have to look out for, because it can be carried on to the next generation. So this family would need genetic counseling. What to do if you're pregnant again, if you have another child with Down syndrome.
Yeah.
So it's important to find out what kind of Down syndrome it is.
Well, okay, what about cases I've heard before from lay people? I mean, or just like rumors mostly. Like, the later a woman has a child in life, the greater the risk of having a child with this condition.
Yes, that is also true.
This?
That's true. That the older a woman is, the higher risk.
Yeah.
Of course, these are numbers, but we have majority of our moms are actually below 35, because the test would start at 35.
Okay.
In fact, in other countries, I will not mention the country, he plays golf. He's an altar server in our parish church, and he's also into Photography, and just like any boy, he's into computer
Girls.
games and not quite yet.
Not
Maybe
yet.
soon, soon.
Okay, I remember Jeremy because with my discussion with Mr. Pasha, Chairman Pasha, 2 weeks ago, he did mention that your son is a very good golfer. And he said his handicap is pretty impressive.
Well, he is definitely much better than myself. He plays golf. He's a natural. He has a good swing, and I think he just gets it from observing his dad, from watching TV in the evening, the U.S. Open, the British Open, and he learns. And I asked him to tutor me because I just started playing golf, and we're seriously considering that he joins the Special Olympics in the golf division.
Wow, excellent, excellent. Now, for people who are just catching our show now and who weren't able to catch the first installment with Mr. Pasha, let's talk about Down syndrome, this condition. How would you define this, and tell us a bit about this condition?
Down syndrome is a random genetic disorder. As you said earlier, it happens in 1 in 800. It doesn't choose any race, nationality, rich or poor, so it can happen to everyone. It is a chromosomal disorder because we all have 23 pairs of chromosomes. But the person with Down syndrome has 1 extra chromosome on the 21st pair. So the scientific or the medical term for Down syndrome is trisomy 21.
I love you. I have a voice. My voice
Good
is strong.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Philippines Uncut. I am your host, Buddy Kunanan. On this show, we talk about everything under the sun, and tonight's show is about health and our discussion on Down syndrome, a condition that causes mental retardation and unique physical characteristics in 1 in 800 children all over the world. Now, recently we had Mr. Tony Pasha, who is the chairman of the Down Syndrome Association of the Philippines, on the show. Tonight, our discussion continues with Ms. Agnes La Peña and a very special guest, Mr. Arthur Ryan D. So, Agnes and Arthur, welcome to Philippines Uncut.
Hi, good evening.
It's a pleasure to have you here, Arthur.
It's my pleasure to have you.
Pleased to meet you. And okay, let's start a discussion with a short introduction. Let's begin first with Ryan. Ryan, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
For me, as myself, I love to do things in positive for children's awareness around the world, and also safety of public health and support to all the world.
Bravo. Thank you very much, Ryan. Bravo. Agnes, tell us about yourself.
I'm a mother. My son with Down syndrome, Jeremy, he's 17 years old. He goes to a life skills development center because there are 3 chromosomes on the 21st pair. They say it's a normal chromosome, but the additional genetic material creates so much chaos on the body that there are different medical concerns. They have the physical characteristics, which we say they more or less look the same.
Yes.
There are medical concerns like heart problems, respiratory problems.
Vision.
There's a vision, or there's a thick medical book about the medical concerns in Down syndrome. But then we have kids who don't have those problems. So it's really there's a wide range, high functioning, low functioning. Important thing is the children is given the right medical attention initially.
Yes, yes. And of course, the right care, the right love and support, which is very important.
That's why one of the most important program that the Down Syndrome Association of the Philippines has is early intervention.
Okay,
so we have this every quarter, and one coming soon on the 4th of August at the San Carlos Seminary. We invite new parents or even parents who have older kids but have never done anything for their child. This is open to all. We're on Facebook. We make our announcements there. So we would like to invite new parents to join our early intervention seminar. So this is support, all the other parents are there. This is a time for you to cry, to tell your concerns, and get over it. And in the afternoon, there are doctors, therapists who will explain how to deal with a child, a baby, taking care of your child with Down.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Anna boys and my friends.
I have a voice and a heart.